Right, and welcome back to Fan Helsing at last for a couple of months or so, as well as a couple of ideas of what else to do for a little while. So, on our last recording of Fan Helsing, we were in the middle of finishing, or nearly close to finishing, mission 2. As well as with mission 2, that there was a room with a set of women, and one of them was Anna. She was one, and the other 3, which were criminals. There were absolutely loads and loads of criminals. And let's just drop this little bit down while we're here. So, there were 3 criminals that I had to save. Or shall we say, get rid of. And one with the name that is ALEERA, which would have been on the right, that was protecting the one in the middle, that was causing a lot of trouble, as well as the one on the left, which was protecting the middle one as well, which was VERONA. And once you got rid of the one on the left and on the right, you had to get rid of the one in the middle, which was called Demon, MARISHKA, whatever the name is exactly. But before winning that room to save Anna with having those 3 criminals that was grassing her up, I was on a area, or just in an area, with a specific thing, or 2 things you could get hold of, which was a life increaser on top of a chimney, as was one that had a symbol on the left hand side for you to break off, which is where you could get a cheat from. And the cheat would have been called Ghost Friend that you could get hold of. But with that cheat, as well as with the life increaser on top of the chimney, I said about that if you finished mission 2 and you went past that area and finished mission 2, you could not go back there and go and get those 2 things if you ever missed them. So make sure you don't miss them. But if you did, you could go and get those when you have finished the game to collect the remaining life increases or any of the cheats you missed out on. As well as when I came back out from the door that leads into that room, I was reminding you that you could find an egg that would have been in a water fountain of some kind. So there would have been an egg you could grab hold of if you didn't pick one of those up. But as I picked it up a long while ago, on a fair load of recordings back for where I am now, that I could just pick up a speed boost. But don't forget, I did get Fernelson to say I can't carry any more. And so yeah, once I reminded you all that, I got Anna out of trouble by getting rid of the woman on the left, which, like I said, the name was, of course, Verona, and get rid of the one on the left, which the one on the right, sorry, which is ALR. No, ALEERA. That's the name of it, whether it spells exactly, because I can't read or spell out what words are, but most of all, I can't really read what the names are. But yeah, as well as I died a couple of times to not get rid of Demon, MARISHKA. And just before I did, I picked up the hat and then just basically got a dead with a triangle thing, or whatever it is, or a god symbol. There you go, a god symbol thing, and managed to get Fernelson to chuck it straight between the 2 tits. As well as during that bit, we had a cutscene, but we didn't get Anna or Fernelson himself having a nice chat with her, which was a bit strange, but oh well. As well as with mission 2, what I ended up doing was buying a life REPLENIZ job, which basically allows you to top up your health bar back up to the sides. As well as on mission 2 that I finished, I also bought 2 ammo increases, which is to do with the light blue bar you could top up to the size of a massive amount to do a lot of damage with your weapons. And then once I did do that, I also started to do mission 3, as well as it was in a library, which is where I could show you that you could nudge a ladder towards another part of the room, which would have made a vase smash down on the ground, for you to find a life increaser. But as I said before, I have picked up the life increaser, as well as pretty much every single one in every mission. So every time I'm reminding you where you can find the life increaser, you'll be able to find it. When you haven't played the game before, or you've played it but you think, oh yeah, I remember this game. I'll play it sometime, as well as I can't even remember where the life increases are. And thank you very much for showing me. But yeah. So yeah, I managed to find a speed boost from smashing up a vase, and I couldn't carry more because I've already got a certain amount, which I'll get to you soon about that as well. As well as on mission 3, I went through a hole where you could see me make a bookshelf tumble over, and then go down some steps. As well as, don't forget, I am on hard difficulty, don't forget, which makes it a lot more harder for me to deal with several other different enemies that will come in my way. As well as when you're on hard difficulty, it will get tougher and tougher on every different mission you will come across, as well as different other enemies that you might say, oi, was I not up against that enemy before that turned up? And yeah, that's what the game does. It chucks different enemies that you know whereabouts in the missions where the actual one will be, but in hard difficulty, or mix them all up for you to make it twice as harder. As well as with the enemy I was dealing with, they were screaming ghostly bitches, as well as once I sorted those up, on mission 3 there was a symbol with some barrels and a box where I could remind you that you could smash it with a shotgun, as well as what was in there. It was a cheat that was hiding in there, which was colour body, and I showed you what that does, as well as whenever I remember or get to a point where I know where the cheats are, I'll remind you which ones will be the ones you're after, or you might be really want to get hold of. And then yeah, I went to another door. When I got those ghostly bitches out of the way, I went through the door, and of course go into a little gap, which is where I could remind you that there was a cheat in a little gap on the right, on the left hand side, just as you go in the door, which will give you a cheat that is called Big MELEE, which is the swords that you can make them big and large to do a lot of damage. As well as, if you haven't done the game before, or you fancy playing it, you can find also a weapon, which will be a crossbow that you could do a lot of damage with on your owls you can come across to kill. As well as I have picked the crossbow up, I didn't have to pick it up, so I just reminded you where that was, as well as just basically use the crossbow or the shotgun I used to kill the owls, to stop them getting me and everything else, as well as finding ammo, REPLE, and I search up, and life, REPLE, and I search up, on top of a roof that you could find when you get to mission 3, somewhere in the middle of it, as well as where you can find a gate on the other end, which where you can find a life increaser. But as I picked it up, I would have found a ammo, REPLE, I search up. As well as, after all that, I showed you a statue with an orange or yellow colour flashing with something in its hands, where you could have something done with that thing, which would involve a gate that needs to be opened, which is what the statue's for, to you to open up the gate. As well as before you could open that gate, you needed your crossbow, which was the weapon to open it. As well as when you do go through the entrance towards that area, you would have seen a ghostly person going straight through the gate. And after all that was done, opened up the gate, and then got Van Helsing to go straight through to an area which was where you could find some ghostly screen bitches as well. As well as I still had the colour body to show you what it looks like and everything else. As well as with that room of an area, you could find a windmill or a cog or some sort of thing, like in, for example, where you watch Pirates of the Caribbean, the Dead Man's Chest, where you would have found Jack Sparrow and Will Turner and the other ones with one of those cogs. Where two people was on top of it. Like, for example, Will Turner was on top of someone else whacking their own swords about. Yeah, it was one of those. As well as there would have been a wooden sticky thing in the window, which was I was saying about that you could find a life increaser there. But speaking of which, with that room, with that thing in it, if you shoot the wooden thing with the window, with the wooden bit in there, with a shotgun for you to destroy that. And don't forget what I said about with a shotgun, you shoot that and you do go back through one area you just came from or ahead, and you forgot to pick that life increaser up, it would have vanished. As well as if you shot the window wooden bit out the window and you died, you couldn't get it back. So don't do any of those. Just make sure you make sure you fire the shotgun at the wooden beam and pick the life increaser up, and you'll have it. And then also went to another area, which would have led to a specific thing, which would have a water fountain, of course, some platforms where you had to jump on top of another with your nice weapon for you to pull yourself up on certain platforms, and then basically get up to another area, which is where you could find a statue standing up on top of a building or some kind of thing, which would also have a symbol on a square shaped thing. But I left that because there was a specific way you posted it, so I left that for you to know. As well as there would have been some ghostly screaming bitches as well there for you to fire up against. And then eventually when you get on top of the platform where the statue is, you would have to use the saws and cut that down to break its head off, to make you have a nice little bridge for you to get across to somewhere, to another room, which was where you could possibly find a very nice enemy, which was supposed to be some whacking dudes with their own whacking sticks. But once I've done the game and I'm on hard difficulty, I was up against some lovely wolves, a load of wolves to kill. And all I did do is go on a certain platform and just shoot them to death with a shotgun. And then once I killed them, I showed you where you can find another cheat, which was called Plain World. And then once I picked that up, I had to go all the way around, back up to where the sheet was, and then get back off and around the place, back up to where I was, and then show you a person that was called Hyde. Or shall we say, Igor, for example. We was up against Igor, and I was dealing with him, and then he vanished, and then he saw a werewolf standing on top of a platform somewhere. And then he vanished. So, that's what happened there. And then, after mission 3 was finished, one person said about mission 4. He said about, once bitten, a man who becomes a werewolf is no longer a man. As well as he said about he said shows no mercy on him, mate, my son, for he is lost, which means that Van Helsing's going to have to follow him wherever he went. And that is what we are going to do, is follow where he went. So that's what we're going to do today, is follow where the werewolf went. And as well as the guy would have said, Prince Velgen. And that is the person that is a werewolf that's ran off. So we're going to have to follow him and find him. But if you have seen the film or have seen my other recordings I've done, you know exactly what goes on. But if you haven't, it's okay, because you can watch it anytime you want. It's not a problem. And so yeah, once I get back to where I was, you know exactly what happens. Because as I said before, where I have picked up all the life increases and all the cheats and other stuff that I have found before, I will remind you where all the things are and what they do. And so yeah, this is where we are at mission 4. And yes, don't forget, the gate has been broken off from Velgen that did that. Also, on mission 4, these skeletons will be powerful to knock your health down. So, be careful. Also, when you hear that sound, that means enemies are ahead somewhere that could come and get you. Also, when you take a bit of damage, the red symbol thing will come down on the floor when you kill these enemies, or whichever one you're killing. That might be generous to give you some red, but if not, then say fine, see if I care. And also, eventually, when the sound drops, which I'm pretty sure it will, but also I think what we'll do is show you in Inventory, which is where you can find items, weapons, moves and cheats that will be hiding for you to see. There they are. So yeah, whenever you find a life, REPLE and ISO job, or ammo, REPLE and ISO job, or even speed boost, it will pop itself into items wherever you will be able to find them. But they are around everywhere. You just got to find them. As well as, I think the sound has dropped down a little diddy bit, I think. So we'll bring this back up a little bit. And then press done. And then accept and exit. Okay. So, up on top of this roof, you'll alert some more skeletons to come and get you. So, make sure you just get rid of them. And the way to do that, hold square, as well as the R1 button, which is your accuracy that you're always gonna need to aim at your enemies. So don't forget that. So R1, which is your aiming, as well as the square is the fire. Don't forget any of those. Okay, also at the top of the screen there is a red bar, which is your health bar, as well as on the right hand side underneath where that little, or kind of a massive red bar I've got at the minute. So that blue bar underneath the other end on the right hand side is your ammo bar, which is where you could do some damage with your weapons. As well as I have finished the game on medium, what I'm going to do is do the game roughly exactly how the game goes, but as it's on hard difficulty, I might have to play a bit more aggressive sooner or later. As well as with the weapons, I will allow you to know that you can grab a fair load of weapons. And with the light blue bar, with some weapons will allow the light blue bar to go to some weapons unless you find the ammo that goes to them. So that's what you got to do. But once you proceed ahead into the game, you'll find it. As well as I said before, down here with this door, if you haven't picked up the life increaser or the cheats that would have been colour body, and you finish mission 2, then you get to mission 4, you push the triangle button and you can't go back there, as it says at the bottom of the screen there. There is no time right now, so don't forget, pick up this life increaser as well as the cheats colour body you can grab hold of. But also you can go in this little hole for you to grab hold of the cheats that is called or shall we say Big MELEE, which is for the saws. You can pick that up if you haven't picked it up already. So yep, you can do that. But as I picked it up, there'll be something else over there. Also, with the life REPLE and I search up, or ammo REPLE and I search up, or even speed boost, you can only have 3 of those for you to carry. Okay, so if you want to try and pick up more, you can't. So try not to do that, or try not to worry about that, because you can always pick up more when you have used a fair load of them. So don't forget that. As well as with the life increases and the ammo increases, you can buy some of those from a shop when you get to finish a mission. I'll get to that soon. Also, if you want to use a different weapon, you can push the right D-pad button, because I'm going to get the shotgun out, which can do a lot of damage to the skeletons. Also, don't forget, hold the R1 button in permanent, because if you don't, you're going to miss. So don't forget that. And once again, like I said, with this door, with the life increaser on top of the chimney, as well as the cheats that was Ghost Friend, and you finish mission 2, you can't go back there, which I'll show you. There's no time right now for you to see. So yeah, you can't go back there. But like I said, if you have finished the game and you haven't picked up the remaining pieces, so you know where they are, you can always go back and go and get those when you have started the game again. But don't delete the game when you've said, oh shit, I've forgotten that bit. So don't delete the game. Just finish the game and then go back and go and get it. Okay? So if you think you've forgotten it, don't stress too much, because you can finish the game and go back and start the game again with the weapons you have got, and then just go and get it. Okay, so you can go back this, you can go through this gate again, and there's a barrel beside a box that we tucked in this little area, as well as there would be a box over here, which I forgot to mention while I was thinking about over it. And then another barrel, then another barrel, and so and so. More barrels and barrels. And don't forget, I did show you this before, which has this statue with the yellow flashing thing. And I said about that you're going to need a weapon, which would be the crossbow that you can get hold of when you're in middle of doing mission 3. So now you can use the crossbow, which is what you're going to need to get hold of. And then once you have got it, hold the R1 button, get the crossbow, and press the square. And then what it will do, open up this thing, which is where you can get a cheat from. But as I have got the cheats, I will remind you which cheat you would be able to get hold of, which is the one and only that would be called TRANSLUCENT friend. As once again, whenever I find one or remind you where they are, I will remind you what it does, or any of them. But as I have picked it up from here, I will be able to find a life, REPLE, such a, for me to have my health bar to go back up to top when I need it. But I don't need it right now because I've got plenty of health at the moment. As well as if you want to switch weapons, you can also hold L2 and then switch your weapons that way. So yeah, 2 ways of switching weapons: hold L2 or just use the right D-pad button or the left D-pad button and then just switch it to whichever one you want. Okay, so you're wondering, where on earth is the werewolf? Yeah, where on earth could it be? Yeah. Right, also, up on top of it, you would have found a life increaser for you to grab hold of, if you haven't got it already. Also, you'll find a barrel and 2 barrels. Also, and when you move ahead, here it is. And also the cheat that I've ticked with a box. This is what it does. And that's the werewolf that's going to fuck off. Again. And so yeah. It's going to fuck off. As well as what I'm going to do is keep the cheat on for now. And also I think my controller's just about to die on me, which is not going to make me move Van Helsing around that easy. So give me a moment. I'll be as quick as I can. It's lucky I've got the batteries right beside me. Okay, so yeah, once you have sorted the problem, when you come across anything like that, make sure you have some batteries beside you and then put it back in and then you'll be all good. Okay, so yeah, there is 2 barrels and a box over it. Also, when I mentioned about the egg, you could put it in one of these things. So you can always do that if you want. But also with these things, they can always unlock a specific thing, which would be a challenge. But also I have noticed something else has happened. That's why I'm making such a racket, because my controller's died on me again. Yeah, sorry about that. So let's try this again. So yeah, sorry about that. Thought the battery would have been a piece of cake, but they just want to play silly beggars. Thought I had plenty of power, but apparently not. Okay, so let's try this again. Right. Okay, so when you go through it, you might remember this area, as well as when you move, the werewolf will be back. They'll be howling to say sod off, and we say, you must be joking. And he says, I'm going to fuck off again. He can't stay and have a chat, can he? How rude. Okay, right, you got some vases for you to smash. But what's wrong with smashing vases, eh? As long as you don't have to pay for them. But yeah, vases in your back garden, and your parents have had those for a few years. And they see you do it in their back garden, and they're probably going to say, I hope you're going to pay for them. But lucky with this game, we don't have to pay for fuck all. And also something else just went off there, so sorry about that. So I always see someone or something that would want to give me a notification thing. Yeah, anyway, so you got some vases to smash up and everything else. So yeah, you got those. Next, you can go back this way. If you remember on mission 1, what happens? Well done you. If not, it's no problem. Right. Now then, you got a box, don't forget. And another barrel. Also, your grapple hook. But before that, also with the sheet that I've got on, don't forget, I've kept it on there for you to see what happens to the other enemies. And also what these are flying stone creatures, or vampires shall we say. That's what these are. Also, with these things in the shotgun, make sure you stand quite in front of them so you can just stop them getting up. Also, sometimes with a shotgun you can get some boxes smashed, which is quite nice. Also, when that sound stays up, that means danger somewhere. So try not to worry too much, or try not to panic, because you'll be fine. Also, I have finished the game on medium, don't forget. That is wide. The red bar is quite high. As well as with that, don't forget that you have to find some life increases. But also I have been finding life increases, which is why the red bar is quite high up. And speaking about life increases, the life increases in missions, you're going to have to find them all. As well as when you find one, you're going to have to find another. So when you find two, each one of those black squares that you can find or see, each one of those red parts of your health bar will squeeze into each one of those black squares. And there are 15 black squares in total for your red bar to be filled up. As well as with some life increases, you will also have to buy some as well. And also I haven't bought any of those. That is why there are 5 black squares left lurking about. But also with the light blue bar, which is your ammo, or my health ammo. And the reason why it's full is because I bought 5 ammo increases. So with ammo increases and life increases in a shop, they will both have 5 for you to buy. Also with R1 and triangle for you to pull yourself on top of it, which is where you find a table that you can now smash. As well as over it, that you might remember on mission 1 that you could get through there. But now this time, the reason why this is no use to me is because the werewolves also have been smashing it to pieces. How rude. Obviously he doesn't like me going that way. But as the werewolf has done that, you can go this way because he's knocked the tree over and broke a wall for you to get through. Also, some more of these things will come across if you haven't got rid of them before. Also, if you want to go for a different one of these, let go of R1, push it in again, and then you'll be all good. Also, what you can do is do a couple of rolls to avoid them. The way to do that is push X and push L3 towards the left or right to go whichever way you want to go, and then you can avoid it. Even you can do a back roll by pushing the L3 down. So you can do it whichever way you want, it's no problem. Also that one was going to try and hit me then with his wings. But we say, sod off. Also, you'll find a couple. So try to avoid. As long as you avoid them, you'll be fine. As well as, once you've dealt with them, you'll find a box, as well as 3 barrels, and another 2 or 3. That one wants to flick it at me. How rude. Also that one wants to smash some barrels. As well as, don't forget, like I said, with your aiming, keep the R1 button pushed in, as well as keep the square button pushed in. And then you can just keep fighting. Unless your health bar goes all the way down. Which is what you don't want to do, because otherwise you'll be in spot bother. So yeah, You've got some barrels and boxes. And over here, like I said before, that I've played this game a load of times, where I could find a life increaser in this area. As well as I said before a long while ago, that when I played it a fair few years ago, I knew exactly where it was, and then one day it vanished. Which would involve, it'll be like a glitch to make you know where it is, and you know exactly where to find it, and then one day, oi, where have you put it now? As well as, I will remind you where you can find it if you have one of the black squares to be filled up and you can't quite get it filled up in red. So yeah, I will remind you where it is and how you can get it. Okay, right, I also think you have seen enough of the cheats that I have showed you where you can find it as well as what it does. So we'll take that off. So that is that for you for now. As well as we are now going to move on. As well as you might have a cutscene like this. And there's the werewolf again. It's going to howl itself to death. And as you can see at the bottom, the name is Velgan. And so yeah, that is Velgan there. Right, now with him, what we want to do is just keep the square button pushed in, keep the R1 button pushed in, and when he swings his arms, and when he's getting close to you, just press X a couple of times and push L3 towards the direction you want to go to avoid it for what he likes to do. And just keep pushing the X until you get away with it. And also, like I said, whichever weapon you've got. Oh, and I've died, so that's not a problem for me. Right, also when you do die, don't worry, because your health will go all the way back up to the top to a nice size you did have. Also with the life, REP, LE and as I jump, it can top your health bar back up as well. So you can choose whichever way you want to do it, it's no problem. And do it again. Until that health bar goes all the way down. That's your task. Just make sure the health bar just goes all the way down. Also when he grabs on you, you can also use your ammo with the pistols. Oh, I forgot about that. I was showing off too much. Right, now, speaking of where you've seen that, what you have to do is find it, which is the ammo that goes to the shotgun that I have fired, which was a bit too horrible, but done it now. So, with the ammo that goes to the shotgun, also with the ammo, with all the other weapons, you can use it when you have found it, as well as you see me use the ammo on mission 4. You can use it whenever you want. But, as I said before, I'm going to try and play the game exactly how the game plays. And just play it fair. But that wasn't fair at all, was it? That was evil. Also, with the hat that falls off, make sure you pick that up. There's a specific reason for that, which I'll get to in a little while. Also, speaking of which, on mission 2, I said, oh, Oh, and he did it again. And there's the hat. And there's a specific reason why you need that.
God, what kind of evil does this to a man?
I wonder why.
Run! Run for your life while you still can! I run from no one. Then kill me, please, before I kill you. I'm a monster hunter, not a murderer.
Oh, really?
There is only one true monster in this country.
Now you're wondering, how does that work?
Like I said, a monster hunter. No!
Oh dear.
Just whose side are you on, anyway?
My family's side.
That was him, wasn't it? The one who was bitten.
Yes.
He's not your brother anymore, Anna. He's not the brother you once knew and loved.
That's not true.
Anna.
They say Dracula has a cure.
Rumors, lies, you can't believe them.
I must believe them. If there's a chance to save him, any chance at all, I must.
Well, she sounds pissed, doesn't she? And there is mission 4, complete. Madam, you wondered, why does the werewolf disappear and turn it into a person, and then the person goes back to a werewolf? Now, if you have seen the film before, you know exactly how it goes and the reason why. But if you haven't seen the film, well, the reason why that happens is because when the moon rises, the werewolf will come alive. And then when the moon buggers off, it will turn that into a guy. How about that? But yeah, if you've seen the film before, you know exactly how that works. But yeah, that's what's happened there, as well as where Falasin and Velgan was having a nice little cozy little chat, weren't they? As well as where Velgan said there's only one true monster in this town. He was pointing to someone, but who? So you wonder, who is he? Well, once again, if you know the film and you've seen it, you know exactly who it is. But if you haven't, that's not a problem. As well as we have got him to point out that's where we've got to go next. So yeah, that's where we're heading. As well as we got 22 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. As well, we've got 24 best kills. Shots fired, 444. As well as we have got MELEE hits, which is 0. Damage taken, which is the enemies attacking you, there is 236. Power, GLYPHS, which is to do with the green god symbol you ever pick up. As well as however hammer you pick up, it will always go up. As well as with that, you can buy things with that. I'll get to that soon. As well as finished with hat on. Yes. Now the reason why that you need that on a yes is because you can grab hold of something. But as I said before, I have got to mission 5 and I end up not having it, saying with hat on. Now the reason why is because you need it on every single mission to get hold of something. So hopefully when I get through all the missions in hard difficulty, I should hope and pray that I can get the word to say with hat on, yes. As well as at the bottom, enemies killed. There are 24 that I have killed there. Right, now, what we're going to do is go to Armory, which is now all about your shop, where you could spend some green god symbol. Or you could basically continue on to your next mission. But whichever one you want, make sure the word will be in white and then press X. But for now, we're going to go into Armory. And I'm going to go through a couple of details about things. Now, if you wanted, why is all those quite darker than the very top one? Well, the reason why is because I don't need most of these. But up the top, that is called Life Increaser. As well as, don't forget, I did say that when you buy one of these, it will top one of the black squares to be filled up in red. As well as the first one, or shall we say, as I said before, there are 5 life increases. And we'll get back to them more. As well as next one will be Life, REPLE, and I'll search up. That is worth 500 for you to see. Okay, I think. But yes, it is there. As well as with that, you can only buy 3 of them. So that is white. That is darker than the life increaser is at the moment. As well as you have got ammo increaser that has been sold out. That I have managed to make all of the 5 of black squares to be filled up in blue. So that's why that's saying sold out. As well as the reason why ammo, REPLE, and ISOCHART is dark is because I've got 3 of those. As well as now we're going to go back to ammo increaser. As well as the life increaser. Now, each one of those 2 will allow you to have 5 for you to buy. As well as each time when you're buying one of those 2, life increaser or ammo increaser, the prices will go up. And the first one, when you buy one of these 2, life increaser or ammo increaser, the price will start at 1,000. When you buy another one, it will be 1,500. Another one will be 2,000. Another one will be 2,500. And the last one will be 3,000. So be careful when you're buying these things. But also, if you look closely enough, there will be a number that will be 12,429. So I've got plenty enough to buy that. Next of all, you've got ammo, REPL, sorry, done those ones. As well as you've got speed boost that is up to 800. Now you're wondering, why the fuck is that up to 800? Well, it's because you can run fast, as well as get all of the weapons for them to fire fast, as well as you have got 20 seconds. That is reason why it's up to 800. So be very, very careful when you're buying those. But if you've got loads of green god symbols, then go ahead. As well as if you've got less of those, then go ahead. But as I've got 3 of those, I can't buy any more. Next we've got dodge fob that is worth 1,500. But as you can see, it's saying sold out is because I've already bought it. Now, the price for this would be 1,500, as I said. And what it will do is allows the crossbow, shotgun, and the pistols to do 2 bangs. As well as you wondering, how do you do that? Well, pay for it first, and then hold R1, and then push the X and square, or just hold the square and then press X, and then push the L3 towards the left or right to do a roll left or right. As well as you can push the L3 down, so you can do a back roll and left or right directions. And then the 3 weapons, as I said, pistols, shotgun, and of course the crossbow, for them to go bang bang, so you get 2 shots at once, which is what that's going to do for you to have a good time of shooting at your enemies 2 times at once for 1,500. Next of all, you've got grapple strike that has been paid for. Now you're wondering, what is that and what does it do? Well, if you haven't paid for it, all you're going to do is just pull your enemies towards you. And when you do pay for it, which will be 500 for you to pay for, and what it will do, when you do pull enemies towards you, you can hurt them with it. So yeah, it's 500 if you want to do something fantastic like that, hurt your enemies instead of just pull them towards you. Next of all, you've got Grand Strike that is worth 1,500. Also, it is for the swords. As well as what it's going to say is hold R1, which is the accuracy. Push forward, which is the L3 up, which is what it's asking. And perform a MELEE attack, which is the part of the sword that can do a nice attack. To strike and sometimes pop enemies that have fallen on the ground, which is what it can do. For 1,500. Next of all, you've got 2 Joe Fob, which is worth 2,000, which is for the swords again. Hold your 2 Joe attack to flying your 2 Joe BLADES at opponents. I'm pretty sure that's what OPPONENTS is spelled to be for. Next of all, you got air hop for 1,000. It's for the swords again. After holding air strike attack button, which is the circle button, which is what it's asking or saying for you to know, to rise into the air, press a DIRECTION, what it spells to be exactly, and tap X to jump on thin air, which is what Van Helsing can do. How about that? Also, I'm a bit too concerned that you might not be able to see the words very well, or even the numbers, because obviously I haven't done something correctly. So I'm sorry about that. But as I'm reading it out and spelling it all out for you, you know exactly what this is all about and how things are supposed to be for. Right, also you've got next, which is something that is darker, and the reason why is because I haven't done something for it to be, for me to pay for it. That is why it is dark than just these 3 right here. Now, what it is, it's a weapon that is called SCIMITARS, what that spells to be exactly, as well as right beside the name, it'll be saying swinging, and it is worth 1,000. As well as what it's going to ask you to do is after a Grand Strike, which is basically saying you have to pay for a Grand Strike first before you can pay for this thing. As well as possibly you might need to get your weapon as well. Of the name of it, as I said, SCIMITARS, as well as it's going to say underneath, after a Grand Strike, hold R1, push forward, which is L3 up, as well as and attack with the weapon of the name, where it's going to say the SCIMITARS to perform a swinging, and of course where it's going to have the name of it, SCIMITAR, and of course it's going to put attack, so you can attack enemies with this weapon when you pay for Grand Strike and pay for this one right here for 1,000. Next we've got the swords again, which is the name of MELEEE, and of course it's going to have explosion right beside it. I'm pretty sure that's what EXPLOSION is supposed to be, but it is 2,000 for that thing. Also, what it's going to say about is a ring of ice or fire explodes. That's what, and I'm pretty sure that's what EXPLODES is supposed to be from the last hit of your ALTERNATE, what it spells to be exactly. But I'm pretty sure that could be a cheat that you're going to need to grab hold of, but I'm pretty sure it's got to be something else than I think it is. Also, it's going to say ammo of the name of the sword, MELEE. So basically, with the ammo, you're going to need to push the L1 button. Just push it once for the light blue bar to go down. Okay, but if you don't want it to go too far down, push that L1 again. to stop it from running out. Alright? Because also the pistols, don't forget, I have used the ammo on the pistols, as well as made an accident of using the ammo on the shotgun, because I was going to try and play the game exactly how the game plays out, but I wasn't expecting Van Helsing to be slung across the floor or either let go of Velgen, the werewolf, anyway. But yeah, so that was my mistake. Anyway, it's done now. Right, also you got last of all, which is finish a slot. Now, you can start with 3 of them, as well as you can buy 2 more. Now, the reason why it's saying sold it is because I brought the last 2. Now, what these do is knock some enemies' health all the way down, but some enemies' health will not go all the way down. As well as you can have 5 in total. So, as I said, you start with 3, and you can buy 2 more. So, you're wondering, what is the prices for the 2? Well, one will be 2,500, and the last one will be 3,500. You heard me correct. It's 3,500. So be careful when you're buying those. As well as last of all, I don't think I need to buy fuck all at the moment, but it's tempting me. It's tempting me. Because as I said, when you're on hard difficulty, it will get harder and harder every time when you're playing it. So it tempts me to say I might want to use a life increaser, but I think I should be fine. Okay, last of all, I'm going to press continue and make sure the word is done. As well as before I end the video, I'm going to get one person to read a couple of informations for you to know about. And here we go.
Castle Frankenstein is the place where you will learn of Dracula's greatest ambitions. Do not fear, my son. Climb its highest tower. Discover what he uses to power his experiments.
Dun dun dun. Right, so you heard him. The Castle Frankenstein is the place where you will learn Dracula's great ambition. So now, do you know who Dracula is? If you know exactly who Dracula is, well done you. As well as if you have read a book of Dracula as well. You know exactly what that's all about. But if not, it's not a problem, because I've never read books. As well as I've played the game a load of times, as well as watched the film as well, to know exactly who it is. As well as a couple of other bits and pieces. As he said, the Castle Frankenstein is the place. So you're wondering, what place is that? Well, you're about to find out sooner or later, because that's where Van Helsing's got to go to. As well as where he said, do not fear, my son. Climb his highest tower to discover how his powers experiments. So yeah, that's what we've got to do, is make Van Helsing discover how Dracula powers experiments. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. As well as before we do anything, we are going to press X and then see there, another flicking gate that's broken off. And who on earth's done that? Well, you probably already sussed out who's bloody done that, because as you saw the other gate, let's end up having the same sort of thing. Yeah, it's the werewolf that's done that. So yeah, this is where we're going to leave it for today, and hope you've enjoyed it so far, and I should catch you on the next one soon. Take care.